Chapter is a poem, Train, which is written by Humayun Kabir. And in this poem, the poet is telling about his experience, his description of trains. Because the poem is told by, here is a narrator, here is a speaker, a small boy who lives nearby the railway line, and down his window there is railway line. So he used to see various types of trains and he enjoyed to watch them. So the poem Trains is about a little boy, little child who is very fond of trains that pass under his window. He is filled with wonder, seeing their shape, speed, lights, and restlessness, and asks his mother about each train that passes by. The poem is therefore about different kinds of trains and his reactions on seeing them. So, in this poem, you will see everything, every description made by this small boy when he sees the trains down his window. So let's read the poem at first, then we will describe this. Mother, I sit by my window for hours on end and watch the long trains rumble past. Some are dark and journey tediously. No doors, no window, no shining lamps. Slowly they move like huge elephants that move like shadows in a shadowy dark. So in this paragraph, the poet is comparing a train which he is watching down his window like an elephant. The child sees a train without any windows, which is actually a good train. So if we when we are reading here that the child is describing the train without windows, without roofs, without windows, so it must be a goods train. And he compares the train with that of an elephant, because if you have also observed that goods train always moves slowly, just as an elephant is huge. Similarly, goods train moving and covering his journey in a tedious way moves in a dark shadow. Here the train is being compared to an elephant. Like an elephant which is huge in size, and generally it walks in a very slow way. Same way the goods train being very huge and walks moves in a very slow way. So let's read what is said in the next stanza. Sometimes a train comes flashing past with many windows lit by many lamps that dance and whirl with movement swift. A merry procession with music loud, trills, whistles that rise above the din of my rhythmic beat of wheels resolving fast. So in this stanza, the child is comparing sees another train, and he compares this train with a marriage procession. Marriage procession means a barat. Generally, in a barat, in a marriage procession, there are huge people. They move on dancing and singing. So same way, this train which he sees now under his window is just looking like the marriage procession. So he sees this a passenger train. This time he sees a passenger train, and hence this train has doors and windows, and the light inside the train looks from far as if some shining lamps are passing the way. This train whizzes past and appears as if there is a marriage and the train moving its procession, which is bedecked and beautiful and shining. Means, because this is a passenger train, it has coaches, it has windows, it has doors. Pupils are also peeping out. So inside the coaches, the lights are on, and when it runs fastly. So these on lights looking like the shining stars, beautiful shining stars, and it is looking like the marriage procession is going on. The wheels of train makes a rhythmic beat of music. And in the same way, when it is because it was running fast, so at that time the beat of the running wheels of the train sounds like it sounds like the music is played in the marriage procession, and the child compares it with a moving wedding procession which moves in the rhythm. So next paragraph, next stanza. Sometimes a train comes flashing past, that we have already done. On just a second. Sometimes at night in my sleep I hear. On hot afternoons, you go to sleep, and with the dizzy heat swings all the road, even the crows doors, and forget to caw. The dog lies in the shade with hanging tongue. I watch for hours, and still the tireless trains march on and on along their iron road. So, in this stanza, the child is telling that tirelessly the trains never stops. Tirelessly they move and go and come to and fro from here and there. The child represents the word as sleepy and tired. Here the child is comparing the trains with the word. In the word even can sleep. The word, the pupil among the word in the word feel tired, but these trains do not feel tired. They keep moving from and there to and through every now and then. It as it is a hot season and everybody is down with the heat. Even the crow does not caw because of the heat, and the dog hangs its tongue outside being thirsty. But even in this scorching hot day, the child's amusement needs no retirement, and he watches the trains passing by continuously in that hot sunny afternoon. Here, the child is comparing the trains with the bird, and he says, might be bird will feel tired and take some rest. But these trains do not take rest, they keep on moving and moving. And in the same way, the child is so attracted with these trains that tirelessly he can watch these trains coming and going to and fro. In the next paragraph, next stanza, sometimes at night in my sleep, I hear the low distant rumble of the train. I rub my eyes and sit upon my bed, and beneath the light of the flickering moon moves the long, shadowy outline far away like a huge serpent crawling through the night. Now it is the night time when the child is still sleeping. Still in the sleep, he can hear, he can see the train. These things show, things tell us that the boy is really fascinated from the trains, that he so fascinated that even in the sleeping he can see the trains running and making sounds and creating rhythm and creating music. And that time, in the night time, he compares the trains with the serpents, with the snakes, because in the night time when there is all about dark outside, these full of light trains runs in a zigzag way and looks like this as the snakes are moving through the grass. So this fourth stanza shows the child's obsession about for the trains. The child is so obsessed that he, even when he gets up in the night, by sometimes hearing the rumbling of the train, he sits up and on his bed, and in the middle of the night rubs his eyes and looks outside and the window amidst the dim light of the new moon to find the train moving on the iron rods, which looks like just a serpent. So you can feel, you can know, you can see the child is really obsessed with the trains. Whatever the time he feels, he finds, he just look to on the trains moving down his window. So let's move to the next stanza. Where do all these trains go day and night? You say they bore their way through hills. They roar over bridges, across mighty streams. They crash through forests and vast plains. But at the end of their restless journeys, where do they go and finally rest? So, in this stanza, the poet, with the mouth of the small boy, the poet actually these are the things that might be poet is feeling for the trains, but just to express these things, he has used the boy. So, we can say the poet wants to ask this question through the voice of a small child. What he says, he asks the question that where do the trains finally rest? कहाँ जाती है ये trains? And where do they take rest? और finally कहाँ जाके ये rest लेती हैं? So in this final stanza, the child's sympathy pours on in the form of question. Somewhere the child is showing his sympathy for the trains that continuously these trains keep going and going and going on to and fro, never being tired, never taking a rest for a while. So, where these trains take rest? When do these trains take rest? He ponders over the fact. He's thinking about this fact that where all these trains go after all. After covering all these distances on the road, crossing mighty streams, and by going past the hills, the destination of these tired trains are still unknown. Why? Where is the final destination of these trains? Why they do not take rest? Why they do not stop running? So this is the question that the small child raised for his for his for on seeing these trains. So I hope you have well understood and cleared the concept of this chapter poem.